I think the problem we're facing here is, or the problem I face when I look into uh, my own opinions on how to change things. I get hung up on the fact that the whole world revolves around money and a financial system, and you feel that you can't break out of that financial burden that is forced on you in the form of having a job. And if you have a job, you have to pay taxes. Um, and even if you could convince the whole world, or at least half the world, that they weren't living on spinning ball overnight, what you couldn't do is ask them to immediately start living without money. So the problem is that the system has been set up for a long time, and people are born into that system. So you know, you think about, okay, you want to change the world, you want to change the status quo, you want things to change, but the fact that everything is tied up to money and a financial system means that the government wins, because, okay, one person doesn't want to pay their taxes, that one person gets penalized, gets put in jail, gets their belongings taken off them. If everyone did it, yeah, the government would have a problem, but there would be a financial kind of meltdown, so to speak. And well, there are certain people who can dodge around the tax system issues, but they can't dodge around the fact that to operate in this world, you need to accept some form of money, even though I'm pretty sure in the future that paper cash will be eradicated, because paper cash is hard to control and hard to trace. And you know, soon there'll be electric money, but nevertheless it will still be a points-based system. And what I mean by points is, I mean £1 or $1 or whatever will be 1 point on that computer network that proves you've earned that or owned that amount of money. And the government will have full control over how much of that money they deem fit for their taxation. And well, unfortunately, in this day and age as well, the word laissez-faire or laissez-faire, I'm afraid, just doesn't exist, because for business to be conducted in a legal fashion without the government applying taxation to it. So there is no such thing as laissez-faire. The closest thing to laissez-faire is selling goods or services under the table and not declaring them. And you can't ask the whole world to suddenly do that, or you can't ask everybody who's suddenly become awakened to the big deceptions that are going on to suddenly do that. So we're sort of, unfortunately, we're stuck with the monetary system. And the only way to come up with an alternative would be with the cooperation of the people who created that monetary system, and they're not going to give that up, of course, obviously. So where would that leave people? Excuse me, I need to drink some water. Well, I think it would leave people in a situation of freeing their mind from the deception. I think that's pretty obvious, but perhaps to some people it it isn't obvious. But if you're forced to operate inside of a financial system that requires money and the paying of taxes, that's a burden that's on everybody. But the one thing that you can still control is your mind and your choice of thoughts. No one can force you to think a certain thing. And I think that's the point that a lot of people have been making, is that you need to have control of your mind. And if somebody is going to lie to you and take your money from you, you also need to demonstrate that although you are forced to give up your money to a bunch of liars, that you do not accept their lies. You have no tolerance for their lies. It's like, I know you're lying to me, and I'm not accepting that as the truth. I know you're taxing me, and I have to accept that tax to exist in this existence that I've been born into, but I do not accept your lies. And I think if people, regardless of their financial status, whether they're on the dole, or they're living on the street, or whether they're in a low-income job or a medium-income job or a well-paid job, or they're multi-billionaire, if they can just walk away from the lies that are being pushed, if everyone can get to that point first, then perhaps some changes could be made. Because a liar only pushes his lie if he believes he's getting away with it. There's, in my mind, there's not really a way to defeat the financial system, but there is a way to intellectually defeat a lie that is being sold to you as truth. And that's to honestly say that you don't accept it. I think that's about all I have to say about controlling your mind within a monetary system, a monetized system. Thank you.